welcome back to more Touhou Wiki reading, starting with PCB. Now, I'm aware that the size of the screen here is not the greatest for mobile viewers. Also, I just remember there's a dark mode. I will be turning that on. There you go. That looks nicer. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. But I can't show all of the text. I can't show all of the text if I zoom it in anymore, which kind of defeats the purpose. This is the most I can show, but it's showing everything on screen. So, if you're on mobile, this is probably something you listen to. Like a podcast or something like that. Alright. The dark mode. So let's read, chat. We started with Touhou 1, and now we're on PCB. I plan to finish this segment today, but we have some chunkier characters here for sure. But they will thin out as we get further in because of the nature of recency. But let's start with Kedama. The Kedama have become rather common in the fan base for unknown reasons. They're really popular, rather popular in fan games, being the most common enemy in Moedan, Concealed the Conclusion, Touhou Mother, Twilight Frontiers platformers, Super Murasa Land, New Super Murasa Land, Komachi Satori no Josu, Hyoku, and Megamari, also populating the first floor of the dungeon crawler Labyrinth of Touhou. They also appear as the only enemy type in Sanae Challenge Fusion and Super Murasa World. Related to the latter, there's something called fuzz by Westerners. The reasons are because of either a mistranslation of whatever that says, or due to the little information in them it was derived from Mario's Fuzzy. In fan art and said fan games, they are frequently drawn with goofy faces to give a more characteristic look. Because of this, they have been compared to Ios's version of the Echirin Odyssey series, FOE, Field on Enemy. And sometimes, the words, they're the default common enemy. Wait, what? Sometimes the Kedama and the FOEs are depicted as the same things, as fans sometimes getting confused which is which. Because of said fan games, fans have sometimes called the Kedama the Koopa, or sometimes the Goomba of the Touhou project, or in other words, they're the default common enemy that can be attacked by in Gensokyo along with the fairy, and sometimes the PC-98's Bake Bake. Allow me to. Just a little bit. And fan art and said fan, wait, where am I? Another popular aspect is that they sometimes associated with Lily White, either as pets, subordinates in various doujin works, or as a symbol of spring. I've never seen that before in my life. The origin to this is that Kedama appeared as stage 4 enemy of Perfect Cherry Blossom, which Lily is the mid-boss of. However, it is unknown as to how that is considered, because the Kedama did not appear as stage 4 enemies of that game. It was in fact the spinning enemies as identified by Zun, and are thus an entirely different group of creatures. Because of this, however, the spinning enemies are treated as Kedama, even though they don't look like hairballs. It's also because of another variant of Kedama exists in the fan base, shown to the right. These are a type of sort of hybrid of the Kedama and the spinning enemies, where they appear more twirly-like, with the small face in the center. This is more notable in the fan games The Alternative Age. Wow. Kedamas are a confusing creature, huh? I don't remember anything in the entire series looking like this. This thing is fucking horrifying. Look at its face. It looks like it's dying. Dude. Like, I see the face, but it doesn't look like a funny face. It looks like a face of, like, fucking agony. Jeez. Letty White Rock. She's said to have a larger hitbox than other bosses, probably to make it easier for newbies. However, this fact led to a fan theory that she is fat. Futomashi, a recently made-up word derived from futoi. An alternate fan theory is that this indicates her having large breasts. She melts at the end of winter in some fan comics. I've never seen that. In some fan comics, she's seen in a freezer or a refrigerator, typically in hibernate between winters. I've never seen that either. She's often portrayed as Chirno's friend and mentor, despite the former not wanting to be associated with the latter in canon. Due to the shape of the brooch on her dress, she's also sometimes seen wielding a trident in fan art. I've never seen that either. There is confusion over whether she is a snow spirit or a spirit of winter, which leads to some conflicting cases where she disappears at the end of winter or just doesn't feel like appearing. She is sometimes referred to as White Rock, Shiro Iwa-san, Never heard that before either. Okay, about half of that category I have never seen before. We just saw that recently. What? What? What do we see? A famous meme originating from the second Touhou M1 Grand Prix is Ron Yakumo yelling, "Chen!" Whenever Chen does something wrong or does something cute that attracts Ron, derived from this, many fans comment, "Chen!" whenever a Chen-related event happens. Mostly occurred on Nico Nico Video. Another meme featuring Chen known in the English community is Honk Honk, a comic strip made by B-Cub depicting Chen riding a bicycle. Stopping on the road because Suika Ibuki is laying drunk, and Chen honking the bicycle horn. This comic was translated to English and posted on 4chan. Soon people began rearranging the panels to create new stories from it. Rinkai Byo is sometimes depicted in fan art fighting or playing with Chen. Due to her intellect and personality, Chen is often depicted as a child and about the size of one, with Ron being way taller than her. She's also shown to have a cutesy personality, often with her being the daughter figure to Ron. Because Chen doesn't have a family name where the other Yakumo family members have one, some fans adopt theories such as her not being a direct Shikigami of Yukari, or that she hasn't yet fully grown to receive the family name. She's sometimes called Chen Yakumo for convenience, however. Now, that is, I've always assumed that, like, because Chen is Ron Shikigami, by default, she also works for Yukari, but she's not Yukari Shikigami, right? Like the chain of command, the delegator, middle management, in other words. But we do see in CDS that when Yukari appears, Ron appears with Chen, right? But in like the entirety of Silent Sinner and Blue, Yukari and Ron are there, but Chen basically doesn't appear. Chen is irrelevant to Silent Sinner and Blue, like completely. But she does make an appearance with the other Yakumos in CDS. Yukari gets to throw her out. That's true. That's true. Chen is part of Yukari's attack. Chen is part of Yukari's attack. And also one of her victory animations in 15.5 is her pulling out a foxtail and playing with Chen. So there's association between the two. And most fan works do that association anyway, like the three are a family. But it's pretty rare that you see Chen interact with Yukari. I don't think Chen has ever actually interacted properly with Yukari, aside from her appearance alongside her in CDS. But even then, I'm not sure they actually converse. But there's the fighting game animations that do that. So, yeah. Alright, Shanghai. Even though she has no official profile and has only made 3 appearances in game, she's become very well known and is treated as an individual character by much of the fandom. Not by my script. Even though Hodai, no official profile, and 2 in-game appearances, she's become well known and treated as an individual of the fandom. Due to the name of the spell card Hanged Hodai Dolls, Hodai is often portrayed in fan comics hanging herself. Her sprite in Puppet Play does that. While official sprites indicate that Hodai's appearance is identical to that of Shanghai's, fan comics tend to differentiate, frequently by giving her a bonnet instead of a hair ribbon, and or by giving her an elegant red dress instead of a maid outfit worn by Shanghai. Chad, I've never seen the bonnet. But I've seen the red dress differentiation. Hodai is hanging, yes. One of them also has like a fucking like shaver. Lily White. In some circles, the version of Lily found in Eiki stage is referred to as Lily Black and is pictured as more serious and somewhat impish compared to the cheerful Lily White. Lily is often seen with Kedama as a stage enemy on her stage as pets or subordinates in various doujin works. I have never seen that before, chat. Because of her non-aim bullets in Phantasmagoria Flower View, fans tend to find this annoying, like Zun stated in her profile, and has often called her a constant annoyance. You take that back. The phrase, "spring is here, haru desu yo," is a common quote by Lily in fanworks. When she takes on a darker personality and or is thought to be unusually strong, she's sometimes associated with the phrase haru desu yo. This has been used to refer to her when she showed up in Fairy Wars. That's new to me. Haru desu yo. In many not safe for work content, as well as some simple dirty jokes related to Lily White, some people sometimes refer to her to how prostitution in Japanese literally means to sell spring. In fact, to sell spring means to become a prostitute. Why is what? Wikipedia, not safe for work. Lyrica has no entries in the fandom tab. Wow. I've never heard that for Lily in my life, chat. Why does Lyrica have no entry? That's crazy. That's a PCB character. No entry in the fandom tab. Damn. Lunasa. Since Lunasa is the eldest sister, she's commonly referred to as older sister, Lunane. Okay, I'll take your word for it. Merlin. Because of Merlin's bizarre glitch that causes her to behave improperly during the sister's final spell card, fans have portrayed her as being occasionally rebellious or even crazy. That's funny. A mutation of a computer programming meme on the Japanese message board 2chan called Nurupo, short for null pointer exception, which basically means disregard everything I just said, resulted in someone changing it to Merupo. This almost immediately became a popular nickname for Merlin, although it could also be described as her alter ego. Merupo is depicted by replacing Merlin's head with a smiling Shift JIS head with a squiggle and a hair down one side of the face, like so, as you can see. As far as Merupo's personality goes, think Merlin, only twice as stupid and twice as crazy. The only word Merupo seems to be able to say is her name. She's like a Pokemon. Merlin has a great tendency of being drawn with a larger chest in fan art, perhaps because of the remarks in perfect memento and strict sense about her being the tallest and most eye-catching, similar to Komachi Onotuka. I didn't remember that Aya writing that, or not Aya, Aku writing that. Merlin is the tallest and most eye-catching. I thought Lunasa was the tallest. Well, shows what I know. Merlin is the tallest. Youmu, Youmu, Youmu. Many fans call Youmu Myon, but this is partly canon since the term originates from something she has said when she asked Yuyuko Sayoji why she is present at such a Myon place, and the perfect cherry blossom extra backstory. Myonna is a portmanteau of Hyonya, unexpected, and Myona, strange. Western fans more commonly use Myon to refer to her phantom half. So by the way, chat, this is the Youmu fact that I chose for my video because I didn't know this, and I thought it was very interesting. So the nickname Myon, I've always known as being referring to her big ghost half, but in actuality, it's a nickname for Youmu. But the Western community has kind of adopted it to mean refer to her other half, where it's always been a nickname for her, and I thought that was really neat. So yeah, it's right there in the fandom page, but I decided to use that one because I didn't know that. She's generally paired with the following characters in fandom: Yuyuko Saigyoji, Master and Servant Bonsai, Reisen Udongen Inaba. They're a duo with the most common trait of being servants. On the 5th stage of Imperishable Night, she felt a little sympathy with Reisen. Other than that, in the ending of Imperishable Night, as her eyes became like Reisen's red eyes of insanity, there was a scene where she received a medical examination. Sakuya Izayoi in fanworks is connected by battle as both fighting and edge tools. In this case, Sakuya's perfectly elegant style is contrasted with the half-human Youmu full of feelings of adoration and envy. They're also comrades as they are both servants. Youmu is also sometimes addressing Sakuya as One-sama, a title used to refer respectfully to an older sister or to an older woman one respects or admires. I've never heard Youmu refer to Sakuya as that myself. Why are those emotes desynced? You see that, chat? Do you see that? The emotes there are desynced. Why are they desynced? The fuck? Oh, because one person took it and made it a paid emote. That's why. Ripped it and made it a paid emote. That's why it's different. Wow. Okay. Where was I? Youmu frequently gets crossed with Jean-Pierre Polnareff from the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure series. He's a fast-moving sword stand user. This is even present in Touhou Hisotensoku, which one of her alternate palettes turns her completely silver, a subtle reference to Polnareff's stand Silver Chariot. I feel like this one is a reach, chat. One of her spell cards has her assault her opponent with multiple copies of herself, just like one of Polnareff's supers in the JoJo Bizarre Adventure fighting game. Both Sakuya and Youmu can be seen in the style of gold and silver due to their palettes, as Sakuya is a clear reference to Dio Brando by proxy, which also may serve to reinforce their relationship being in fandom. In the American multiplayer game League of Legends, there's a reference to Youmu with the item Yomu's Ghost Blade, reference her name, species, and weapon. The champion Oriana takes inspiration from Youmu. Since Zun's drawing style changes a lot with each work, she's also been called Yomu, or YYY for short, from Perfect Cherry Blossom, and The Face That Knew Men, from 10 Desires. With the latter, Japanese fans have noticed that her portrait makes her look cuter, charming, and youthful compared to her portraits in previous games, with notable emphasis placed on her hairstyle change. For some reason, some fans have taken this as a sign that Youmu may have made a boyfriend. What do you mean, made a boyfriend? Speculating that she's made efforts to better take care of her appearance as a result. This resulted in The Face That Knew Men becoming a nickname for her 10 Desires drawing. What the fuck? That has never happened before, chat. That has never happened before. Or I've never heard that before. Yomu's phantom half is seen receiving terrible treatment in canon and fanon. Yuyuko is frequently seen abusing it, sometimes treating it as food or as a useful object. I don't remember it getting treated poorly in canon. I know there are some panels where she's like hugging it and sleeping when she's drunk. I like that. That was in Sengetsu Sei when she gets drunk and she curls up and hugs it like a body pillow. So I guess it's like physical. Maybe only she can touch it. Yuyuko. Following Imperishable Night, Yuyuko became famous as a hungry ghost due to several gluttonous lines uttered during her scenario in Imperishable Night. She's often depicted in derivative works as having an immense appetite and or attempting to eat other characters, most notably Mystia Lorelei, Youmu Konpaku's ghost half, and Kutaka Niratari. You don't see her as much because she's too new being 7 years ago. The symbol on Yuyuko's Hitai Kakushi resembles the Sega Dreamcast logo. Many fanworks make fun of this. This is just fandom for a long while, but Zun said her symbol was conscious of the Dreamcast logo in Touhou Project's 20th anniversary drinking party, broadcast on Nico Nico Doga August 15, 2015. She's sometimes depicted in fanworks as having brown or black hair when she was alive. This is because her Perfect Memento and Strict Sense entry mentions that she is said to have lighter hair color and skin tone since her death. I didn't know that either. As soon as she appeared as the first boss, people started making comments that she has become Merchant A. Chonin A, a type designation in battle against small fry enemies in RPG games like Merchant A, Merchant B, etc. I don't get it. It is never stated exactly how she committed suicide, but some fanworks often show her committing suicide with a knife. This is shown in the Flash video True Blossom. While generally not seen in fanworks due to the difficulty of depicting it, another common fan theory is that Yuyuko used her ability to invoke death on herself. Some fan art depicts Yukari Yakumo as having been present when Yuyuko committed suicide, or right after she did. In some cases, Yukari is then shown grieving. That's actually a pretty big element to most stories related to those two characters. I mentioned it before. But there's a really nice doujin that I read about Yukari and Yuyuko. It was 3 chapters long, with the 3rd chapter being like 100 pages, and I thought it was pretty good. They are 2 characters that can have a pretty dramatic story to them. But the gist of the story, which is actually what we kind of saw in Fantasy Maiden Wars as well, is the idea that Yukari treats Yuyuko the way she does. Kind of holds her at arm's length because she sees who Yuyuko once was in her, but she doesn't really consider the current Yuyuko the same person. So they're friends, but it's like there's an awkwardness to it. And the idea of the doujin is Yuyuko kind of tries to address it as like, is she just a replacement for someone that Yukari used to care about? And it sets off the whole chain of events. And it's actually a very good read. I would strongly recommend it. It's very good. Some derivative works depict Yuyuko as having 2 Myons, presumably as being phantoms, although there is a difference. Various fanworks have the giant fan seen in some of Yuyuko's Perfect Cherry Blossom spell cards appear as a sign of her readying to maim someone. Sometimes this is parodied by having her require wires or frameworks to holding up the fan, which is prone to collapsing. I've never seen that before either. Ron. A standard fan name is to call her Ranchama, where Chama is a childish mispronunciation of Sama that Chen would call her by. Sometimes the Rancha part of it is rendered as whatever that says, which means random firing, a phrase commonly said whenever it seemed she is about to shoot. Ron is sometimes portrayed as a flasher in fan works due to the Supa Tenko, literally naked heaven fox, meme spawned by this page. Images on page defunct archive here, not safe for work. Yeah, it's like an ASCII chat of, yeah. According to Ron's spell card, Princess Tenko, and the phrase on the first scene of the extra stage of Perfect Cherry Blossom, a mysterious occurrence on the crossing to 3 countries, some fans of Ron think of her as Tamama no Mai, rather than the white-faced golden fox of 9 tails, or that being shown above. She's usually portrayed as a motherly figure, especially towards Chen. In certain memetic fan works, Ron is seen to suffer from excessive nose bleeding whenever she sees Chen. I've seen that, yeah. I like Ranchama. Ranchama is my favorite. It's adorable. It's just Chen trying her best. And that's all I can ask from her. One sec. It was already like dark when I woke up. I will not be seeing the sun today. Yukari Yakumo. Yukari is famously associated with Maribel Hearn by fans due to the related nature of their abilities, the ability to manipulate boundaries, the ability to see boundaries, although their exact relationship is never directly stated. When asked what the relationship was, Sun said a cryptic remark about Lafcadio Hearn, a writer from the past who changed his name to Koizumi Yakumo. This confirms that there's a relationship and is analogous to Lafcadio Hearn. If it is directly analogous, Maribel and Yukari may actually be the same person or related. Despite this, Yukari may be shown to be a motherly figure of sort to Maribel, who will on the occasion visit the outside world to see Maribel. There's also trivial videos and artwork representing a nostalgic feeling that Yukari meets her young self, Maribel. What do you mean trivial? Trivial videos. Is that really the right word there? There's also trivial videos. Doesn't trivial mean like... maybe there's another meaning here, but doesn't trivial usually mean like pointless, not important kind of thing? Ain't no sun to see anymore. It'll set in like 15 minutes, yeah. In contrast to her part canon personality, she's sometimes depicted as being caring and affectionate towards Ron and Chen, being a strict but motherly figure with Ron and grandmotherly to Chen. Sometimes she is shown as a mother figure to Reimu Hakurei, having cared for her when she was younger in the place of her parents. There's a running gag involving her which plays on the fact that she sleeps a lot and leaves most of her work to her Shikigami Ron. If you didn't know, Yukari's omake states that Yukari sleeps for 12 hours a day. Fans tend to depict her as lazy, as nocturnal, or crepuscular because she is mostly active when it is dark. Some fans interpret her outfit in Perfect Cherry Blossom as a nightgown. Crepuscular is a word I've never seen before. What does that mean? What a silly word. Popular fan nicknames for Yukari include Tsukima, yeah, the gap, so Tsukima Yokai. Yukarin, a contrast of Yukari-chan, and the mock nickname Baba, roughly old hag, also BBA for short. Okay, the last one has been in use because she is known as one of the oldest yokai in Gensokyo. In relation to this, Yukari is often depicted with Kanako Yasuka and Eren Yakokoro. This is due to their family names containing the character Ya, that when misread can mean old hag. In some fanworks, Yukari insists on being 17 years old. Usage in fanworks is possibly a parody of Kikuko Inoue, who claims that she is 17 years old despite being way over that age. Muso Kakyo, A Summer Day's Dream, cast Kikuko Inoue as the narrator, probably Yukari, in a nod to this in-joke. That's kind of cool that they got her to do that. I actually haven't seen A Summer Day's Dream. Like, I watched the first couple episodes long ago. It got a new episode, like, almost 2 years ago now, and I haven't watched it. Also, the Renko Maribel anime, I believe, has, there's a 3rd episode in production now. I have no idea what's going on with Fantasy Kaleidoscope. Summer Day's Dream is kind of ridiculously good for no reason. It actually has, like, good voice, like, actual voice actresses for it. It's animated well. It's crazy. Fantasy Kaleidoscope is the one that most people know. And I haven't really kept up with it at all. I thought it was ending the last, like, 3 episodes they released, because it's becoming harder to do it and make profit from it. Touhou M1's still going. They got a new premiere for Touhou M1 for coming up. It got Touhou 19 characters in it, which is pretty cool. I haven't actually seen a proper M1 since 15, because I watched 15 and it killed me. I watched some of the extra ones. I didn't watch the extra one, the newest one, when it was free. I kind of want to I kind of want to buy a membership again. I bought a membership once and binged it. Got to 15 and got depressed because of how bad it was. And then the membership ran out before I could watch 16. So I might grab a membership again just and watch. Anyway, where am I? This, along with her old hag reputation above, led to Yukari being depicted as easily offended when talking about her age, and comments regarding it are sometimes left unfinished and or end with the addition of gapped, as if Yukari herself gapped away the writer to avoid her actual age being revealed or made fun of. Yukari has been compared and depicted cosplaying as Cheryl Gnome from Macross Frontier fame, sometimes which being hilarious in hindsight when Cheryl's voice actress Aya Endo voiced Yukari in Komachi Densetsu 2 Stranger's Requiem. In fan art, Yukari's fan is sometimes drawn to have Yuko Sayoji's fan on her own. She's speculated to be loosely based off of the Tsukima Onna, a Japanese urban legend and folktale dating back to the Edo period. Now, yeah, because it's not really specified what Yukari is as a yokai, but she is like one of a kind. Layla has more entries than Lunasa and Lyrica combined. Despite only being briefly mentioned but no official artwork, Layla has become notorious enough that she is her own fan art. Notorious is not the word I'd use there. The most common depiction of her is having long green wavy hair and green eyes with a purple dress, which bears the resemblance of the Prismriver sisters. Layla is commonly treated to have become a poltergeist and is settled in Gensokyo, still living in the ruined western mansion with the Prismriver sisters. I wouldn't say that's the most common. In fact, I would say that's far from the common. That's the rare one. Commonly, Layla's disappearance is important to the characterization of the other Prismrivers. It's why Eiki's conversation with Lyrica, and by extension the other two Prismrivers because they followed her, talks about how their anchor to the world was the human that created them, and unless they find a purpose, they're likely to just go insane or disappear. So that's why Eiki mentions it. So, who knows what'll happen to the Prismrivers, but they're still around. But Layla is not there anymore. I like to believe that Layla is still there myself, because it's better that way, because Layla is a tragedy of a character. But, yeah, Eiki's lecture doesn't really have any merit if that is the case for Layla, because she was trying to help them. She's trying to help the Prismrivers actually, stick around, maintain their form, despite what created them disappearing. It's very sad. The Prismrivers are pretty tragic, and I kind of like them a lot, but they do feel like they're delegated just for background band work, and the depth of their characterization is not fully explored, which is such a shame, because I think Layla as a character really introduces a lot to what can be done with them. But they're just not as used, and it's probably hard to use all three. Either way, I like them. Eiki has no merit. You have no merit. Shut up. Eiki's good. Eiki's a good lass because she helps people. Did you know that according to Perfect Memento and Strict Sense, Eiki will, if your karma is so bad that you are guaranteed to go to hell, Eiki will give you a personal visit during her work breaks to lecture you. So she's never visited me, so I'm in the clear. Has she ever visited you? Probably. I bet she would. You fucking freak. But Eiki does everything that she does for the sake of others. But she's also a naggy and kind of annoying because you don't want to hear all these things. But she does it with your best intentions in mind. Alright, Yoki. Yoki is sometimes compared with Renosuke Morichika due to him being one of the few males against Sokyo. Sometimes portrayed as one of the residents of the human village. That's weird. No official image of Yoki exists, however many fans portray him as an old man with a long, swept-back white hair and short beard dressed in a hakama and coat, usually green-white to match Youmu. Zun is aware of this. So if you're wondering what that situation there is a video, it leads to Nico, but there's a video that you can see that Zun is watching, and he can see a Yoki cosplayer. So Zun has seen the most popular depiction of Yoki through a cosplayer. There's been various theories on where he went to and why he left. This is one of Touhou's greatest unsolved mysteries. Is that true? Sayo Ayakashi. Saigyo has occasionally been depicted with a Shimenawa around the trunk. This could be due to one of the many other trees, such as the one seen in Material Missing Power and the illustration of the Netherworld in Perfect Memento and Strict Sense. In the aftermath of Yuyuko's suicide, it is sometimes shown to have been stained with blood splatter of said suicide. Why does the Saigyo Ayakashi have more information on it than Lyrica Prismriver? Does nobody have anything interesting to say about Lyrica? How about why don't we include the part where some people thought she was wearing shorts? Or the fact that her hair color went from, like, powdery gray to actual brown, and but nothing? We got Haru Deathuyo, and we got nothing for Lyrica. Fandom. Wow. Alright, chat. Next is Perfect Cherry Blossom. Why did you go back? Go to dark mode, damn it. Am I brain damaged? I sure am. Why did I click Perfect Cherry Blossom? We just did that for the last 30 minutes. Nobody's ever written anything, so none of it was deleted. Even? Really? Wriggle Nightbug. Wriggle's appearance and name are both quite androgynous compared to other characters, so it used to be a point of some contention where Wriggle was a male or female character before the release of full version. Her wearing shorts certainly didn't help either. You know what's really funny about that? Look at this. I want you to look at this. Look at this Wriggle article. Official profile from the Dai Touhou Tinplaque. Look at this. She didn't wear a skirt, and people mistook her for a boy back then. Girls wear pants too, you know. I read that, and I giggled to myself. I giggled to myself. I was like, come on. That was the exhibition from this year, I believe. This year was Imperishable Night, so those are all, like, recent quotes. Her shorts certainly didn't help either. The full version's official profile declared that Wriggle is in fact female. However, the lack of male presence in the series, she's sometimes portrayed as a male and R-rated fan material, with both writer and readers being fully aware that she is officially a girl. Additionally, she's often made fun of in fan comics by being depicted as a transvestite, either as a girl dressed like a boy or vice versa. Due to insects being near the very bottom of the food chain, Wriggle is sometimes portrayed as food in some fan comics. I've never seen anybody treat Wriggle as food. In particular, she's portrayed as food for Yamame Kurodani or for Mystia Lorelei, who is in turn food for Yuyuko Saigyoji. Okay, I've never seen Wriggle depicted as food, ever. Who wants to eat bugs? Due to her species, she's sometimes associated with creepiness, as people often have insectophobia, the fear of insects. I never would have figured that one out. Insecto. In fanwork, she's often seen with her lower-level, childish characters such as Chirnorumia and Mystia. She's occasionally called or labeled as G, short for Gokiburi or cockroach. Another common nickname for Wriggle is Wrigglin or Wrigglurun, similar in style to Yukarin for Yukari Yakumo. No one's ever called her Wrigglin in their life, but that is a powerful nickname. Yo, what's Wrigglin? Pairings of her with Yuka Kazumi are common. This could be because bugs pollinate flowers, they have similar hairstyles, or maybe angel type is to blame. The pairings dynamic is either loving or S&M based, with Yuka being the S and bullying her. A few fan materials occasionally use a mother-daughter relationship, but this isn't too common. Though she's rarely shown to be a mother figure for Team 9, a nickname for Chirnorumi, Misty Daiose, and Wriggle group. Never seen that either. In Imperishable Night, the player can go up to the top of the screen and focus to collect items without being at full power. The Magic team doesn't even have to focus to do this. Inexperienced players are sometimes caught off guard in the middle of Stage 1 while trying to collect point items, and lose a life when Wriggle makes her entrance to the top of the screen, colliding with the player. The sudden fly-in when Wriggle is sometimes referred to as the Wriggle Kick in the fandom, and is parodied in fan art and fan games such as Touhou Soccer Toemon, Yoyomi Dreamer, voice of the Dream Bringer. That is an interesting combination of games to cite for that, to be honest with you. Wriggle's cape and infamous kick is sometimes compared to Sentai heroes such as Kamen Rider, who has an insect motif, a trait shared by many of his successors. In the multiplayer game League of Legends, is an item called the Wriggle's Lantern, which is named after Wriggle Nightbug. On Pixiv, June 4th appears to be designated Wriggle Day. Ref needed. No situation. Can't trust it. It's bullshit. Touhou Soccer, yes, Touhou Soccer shows a screenshot blurred. Toemon, I don't know about Toemon. I guess he learns jump kick and shit. But Yoyomi Dreamer is a wild one. That's a great game, mind you. But like, usually when they talk about these types of games, they refer to like 2009 era, which is why Touhou Soccer pops up. Fantasy Maiden Wars isn't here either. I don't think anyone really references that. Guess they really wanted the third example. When did Yoyomi Dreamer come out? 2016. Switch version 2019. English version coming soon. Ah, boo-hoo! Woe is me! Mystia Lorelei. Even though the T part of Mystia is supposed to be whatever that is, many fans have found it more convenient to represent it as by Chi instead. Thus, Mystia's name is commonly abbreviated to Misty or Misuchi instead, which has become a nickname of sorts. That was a lot of words that I didn't understand to tell me that we call her Misty sometimes. Her nickname is used in the fan game Yoyomi Dreamer. Even though her songs are meant to scare and confuse humans, in many fanworks she is depicted happily singing with a grateful voice, sometimes viewed with a microphone. It is also common to find her along with Prismriver sisters in fanworks, where the four make up a band in which she serves as the main singer. That is true, that does happen early on, but Raiko inclusion and just falling out of favor, I suppose. And also Choju Gigaku kind of took Misty away from that. Couple different things. In fanwork, she's often seen with lower-level child characters such as You-Know-Who. She gets eaten by Yuko Sayuji, the ghost team, in Paris Moonlight story mode, making her a popular joke character. She's usually pictured as food. Even Zun mocks her in his spell card comments. She's also shown together with Kutaka Niwatari after Wily Beast and Weakest Creature was released, both on the run from a hungry Yuyuko. Very rarely. In fanworks, while tending her stall, Misty is usually depicted in a brown yukata with sleeves rolled up, accompanied by a blue apron and kerchief. This version of Misty is sometimes called Oka Misty, has not appeared in any official work. This is true, by the way. There's a very popular interpretation of Mystia in her work outfit, and it's never been in canon. But if you were to ask somebody like Mystia's Izakaya uses it, obviously. Obviously Mystia's Izakaya uses it, but this particular outfit has become so synonymous with Misty running her stall, even though it's not canon in any regard. Like, it's not canon even remotely. It's never appeared in canon. But it's so popular a design that it basically is canon for her. Like, you wouldn't see anybody deviate from that outfit when putting her in behind the counter, which I think is great. Her stall is canon. Yes, her stall is canon. That's where the whole thing comes from. Her stall is first introduced in Bohemian Archive in Japanese Red, where Aya mentions that there's that she opens her stall and she tricks humans by causing night blindness. She scams humans by causing night blindness and then giving them lamprey, which is supposed to be good for eyesight, and then they eat it and then she takes the night blindness away from them and then they feel better. But even though she's scamming them, her lamprey is actually very good and has high remarks from a lot of different, like, strong yokai. So, like, Aya's kind of annoyed that about it, like, because, like, she's scamming people, but her food is actually top notch, so it's not even really a scam. People will go there anyway. And you also see her cart as well in Sengetsusei, where she sells sparrow sake to the three fairies. And we learn that basically tells us what her signature combo is. Grilled lamprey with sparrow sake. Sparrow sake is a sake that only sparrows are allowed to harvest. It comes from the rice that is used as offerings on gravestones. And sparrows are allowed to do that. They have God's blessing to do that because of, I forget the exact reason. Woodpeckers were assholes, and they're doomed to peck wood forever. But sparrows are allowed to take rice from offerings on gravestones, and they store them in bamboo, and they ferment in bamboo, and sparrows forget about them, and then they become sparrow sake, which is why you get that nice clean bamboo cup for in the game. And it's a sake that only sparrows are allowed to harvest. So she sells sparrow sake and grilled lamprey, and that's her signature combination, and it's very good. It's a very good combination. Misty is a stage 2 boss who randomly has a bunch of stuff attributed to her. Like, she's in a band, she runs a stall. It's cool. Kogasa's similar. It's cool when characters that kind of just pop in, pop out, end up getting a lot more characterization down the line to give them more stuff. But not every character gets that. Kane Kamishirasawa. Some members of the Touhou community have jested that Kane's hat resembles a bento box or a house. Since she has the ability to change history, some fans make jokes about her having relationships with characters that never came out in any of the games, such as Rin Satsuki. As a teacher, she's commonly addressed by the respectful title Kana-sensei. Fans of the English fan base would often mispronounce Kane's name as Kane, probably it does because it doesn't look Japanese-like. The correct pronunciation is Keine. In some fan works, Keine is referred to as a cow, complete with milk jokes due to her appearance in Hakutaku form. She also tends to be depicted with large breasts, which is this is one of the reasons. The word horu in Japanese means to dig, but another meaning of the word is to have anal sex or gay sex. Some fans thought that Kane would go crazy due to her metamorphosis from the light of the full moon and try to shove one of her horns into someone's anus. One day, some Touhou or cave, also famous their shooting games, fan translated a nonsense line, caved from English to Japanese in a machine translation site. The result was hora ure mashita, ochi kimoni mashita, ochiko mimashita, horai deta. Screwed, depressed, screwed. To spread elsewhere because the translation was so silly. When some fans heard it, they associated screwed with EX Kane's attacking others' rear ends. With his post on 2chan, it became famous. When someone writes something that contains the phrase horu to be summarily raped by EX Kane, horu got word filtered to cave in English translations, and so you get I got caved by EX Kane, but because that bad translation was fixed after some time, and because there were people who hated it, caved has become less popular. Now that was a lot of text to tell you that. Yes, gotchi bit. Yes. Gotchi. Now, would you like to hear something interesting about Kane, chat? So, it's a common trope that when Kane goes beast mode, she's often more aggressive, right? So, we know that. We all know that. But according to Aku's article on Kane, mentions that whenever Kane goes beast mode, once a month, because only during the full moon, she has to catch up on a full month of work in a single night, which puts her on edge. So Aku recommends you don't visit her on the night of the full moon. So it's possible that EX Kane isn't actually more violent or aggressive. It's just that every time she pops up, she has to do a month's worth of work in the span of like 8 to 10 hours. So she's extremely winded, so she does not take kindly to anything. So I think that's kind of, yeah, basically work stress, which I think is neat. Also, Aku's article is the reason why headbutting is so popular for her. Aku is the one who first mentions that she headbutts people, and that's, you know, that's like a synonymous attack to Kane. In fan games with RPG-style stats, Kane usually falls somewhere between all-rounder and specialized in defense. Her Hakutaku form sometimes has high attack instead. Yep. In many fan games, Kane is associated with washing machines, refrigerators, and old cathode ray televisions. This is a reference to former Japanese Prime Minister Junichiro Koizumi, referring to these items as the 3 sacred treasures of durable goods. So I mentioned that in Lost Branch yesterday, chat. This is where I saw it from. This is why the Kane event can give you a washing machine, refrigerator, or television. So that's a game with its reference. Tei Inaba. Just like in canon work, Tei seems to be much of a prankster because she pranks on Reisen the most. Some think the reason behind it is how the younger rabbit attempts to boss her around. This line of thought implies Eren making requests in a more respectful manner. In the Chinese community, her given name Tei is usually converted into Pinyin D. What? The choice of the Hanzi done by the fans is pretty interesting since it means emperor or god in Chinese Japanese. Wait, they called Tei D in Chinese? What the fuck? I don't even get what that means. Brown Tei meme from a clean Dojin name with a tan skin Tei talking about how Gensokyo can vastly differ between authors. Western fans say brown Tei to justify their own variations. I am 90% sure this page used to say black Tei. Like 99% sure. Knowing Pinyin, that's not at all how it's read. I have no idea what Pinyin is, dude. All I have is my opinion. That's it. But if that's wrong, then you should definitely correct it. Or write an angry letter. By the way, I have read like 4 incorrect things on the Touhou Wiki in my research. Did you know the Touhou Wiki states that if you use the ability card in Touhou 18, you summon Lily White, but in parentheses it says the black one. So, for some reason, somebody thought Lily Black shows up if you use the Lily White card. Nobody corrected that. It's wrong. So, I have actually found a couple things. Also, the fact that Kaguya is listed as having more spell cards than Yuyuko, which is not true. Which you'll probably see later down the line. I don't edit the wiki, I just criticize it. Doesn't she show up sometimes, though? Who? Who shows up? Who we talking about? Lily Black? Does Lily Black show up until 18 if you use the Lily White card? Does she? Does she? Because I know that if you use the Lily White card, Lily White will show up. But is there a chance that Lily Black does show up? Because Lily Black shows up in Great Fairy Wars, but I don't remember her showing up anywhere else. She also shows up in 18.5 because she's got a card there as well. But I don't think nothing on the card suggests that sometimes Lily Black shows up. It specifically says Lily White. Granted, Lily Black and Lily White are the same character. You'd have to check it out, I guess, right? You'd have to check it out. Reisen Udongain Inaba. Reisen experienced a surge in popularity from the Iosis video. Stop at the affected area and immediately dissolves Lunatic Udongain, better known as Overdrive. This video and its parodies are known on Nico Nico Duga as the Lunatic Udongain series. Reisen is generally depicted as more of a normal person than the other inhabitants of Ayante, being bullied by them or acting as a straight man for their antics. Serious work dealing with Reisen usually focuses on her past as a deserter. This grew more common after Eiki scolded her about it in Phantasmagoria Flower View, but less so after Silent Sinner and Blue showed the other moon rabbits are unexpectedly carefree and prone to exaggeration. Reisen's most common pairings, see relationshipping, are with Tei, Inaba, Eren Yakokoro, and Youmu Konpaku. Isn't it funny how irrelevant Kaguya ends up being most of the time to this whole group? Like, her only real connection to them is Eren, and then Eren is connected to the rabbits, and then the rabbits are connected to each other. It's like a chain of command. Tei pranking of Reisen can be interpreted as affectionate, and it is depicted by caring deeply about Reisen as a student, being strict on her so that she'll achieve her potential. While Reisen and Youmu appear together in a number of games, they rarely have any meaningful interaction. And fanworks are mainly depicted as bonding over their shared status as overworked servants, as well as their training in weapons. Generally, Youmu will be depicted as looking up to Reisen as her elder. I found it to be the other way around, actually. Some fans call her Zayaku, suppository, because her bullets look like them. Many jokes have been made about this, often to a crude nature. In addition, some species of plantains carry seeds that are useful for constipation and irritable bowel syndrome, making them similar in function to rectal suppositories. That's great information. I'm glad I read that. Reisen's line, "I'm just a useless little bunny, only good for my sex appeal," from the Dojinshi Drunkards and Ayante by Om Chicken. By the way, some of his dojins are kind of crazy, but he has a dojin about Kogasa and Sanae. He has a dojin about Kogasa and Sanae, and Kogasa, whenever she shows up and meets somebody, she says that line, Uramishio, the ghost line. But she goes up to the Moria shrine and she introduces herself to Kanako and Suwako, and then she gets very, very timid, and she goes and then she says her line in an extremely timid voice, and Kanako and Suwako are like, "Oh my god, this girl is fucking adorable." It's very good. I recommend reading Om Chicken's dojins, but like I said, some of them get kind of wild. So, but some of them are very cute. Some of them are very cute. Has become notable among Western fans, leading to portrayals of her as attractive but useless to a joke character level. Her tendency to end up in H-dojin seems to encourage this. Come on, brother, it's Touhou. She is generally considered a newbie bait character, as she may bring fans into the series, but most find new favorites and leave her behind. Did that happen to anybody? Did that happen to anybody here? I never thought of Reisen as my favorite character, but I liked her. But she's definitely far from my favorite nowadays, but I still like her. Sakuya was that character for me. Maids. She's sometimes shown as a nurse in fanworks in reference to her training under Eren. A sizable number of fanworks depict her as friendly towards humans, as opposed to her fairly antisocial personality in canon. Eren. Eirin is often shown in fanworks as using the many rabbits at Ayante, especially Reisen and Inaba, as test subjects for various drugs and medicines. According to Cage and Lunatic Runagate, she actually does sneakily give medicine to the rabbits. It would very likely be harmless to them, especially compared to what Reisen goes through in Fanon. So what it's talking about here is the Earth Rabbits pound mochi for the Lunar Festival, but Eirin puts some medicine in the mochi to make the rabbits a little more, not excitable, but give them more energy, because she suspects that they're going to eat some mochi on the side, and she wants them to enjoy the festival. And Tay is aware of it, but she doesn't do anything about it. Honestly, Tay as a character is actually quite interesting, because most of the time you see her, she's being a shitter, but she is very old. She's very smart. She's very wise. She's the one who established connection with Eirin in the first place and set up the pact. Well, pact, but she made an agreement with Eirin that she would continue to hide Ayante, but in exchange, Eirin would share her knowledge to the rabbits. Also, the Earth Rabbits only listen to Tay. So Eirin has, like, there's a level of respect Eirin has towards Tay, despite her seemingly childish and immature behavior. But without Tay, the rabbits would not listen at all, because they don't listen to Ace, and they only listen to Tay. There's also the chapter in Wildhorn Hermit where she sells the rabbits to the human village. Tay is a very deep character, I think. It's just her most popular depiction is her being a shitter, which is fun. We like characters when they're shitters, for sure. But I appreciate that Tay is a character who has, you know, she's a lot wiser than she lets on. Kind of like Yuyuko. Eirin is often placed as doctor or nurse in fanworks for obvious reasons, sometimes making reference to Dr. Mario. Chad, I gotta ask, where the fuck does Dr. Yakokoro come from? I have no idea what the origin of that bean creature is. I tried looking for it, I couldn't find it. She's often grouped with Yukari, Yakumo, and Kanako Yasuka among the fandom because the character Ya in their name misread means old hag. Generally portrayed as a beautiful, shapely woman with a cold personality in various fanworks, though warmer renditions exist. True. The bean monster. Mizuchi is a shitter. Hello, HR. Mizuchi is not a shitter. She's a shit. She, you know what? Maybe when the whole series ends and she apologizes, she'd be a better character. She'll be a better character. But she's not a shitter. She's just a shit. Very important difference. Distinctions need to be made. Kaguya. Because she has spent 1,000 years hiding inside Ayante, Kaguya is often depicted in fanwork as a recluse or even a hikikomori who shuns outside interaction, which is not entirely inaccurate. In humorous works, she's often portrayed as being a neat, sort of not in education, employment, or training, chiefly used in the UK and Japan by the Japanese, unemployed geek or a slacker amongst Westerners. The term neat has gained notability among American Touhou fans, associating it with Kaguya. Mostly, she sits at home and surfs the internet or playing video games all day, as well as other stereotypical neat things. Neat Kaguya renditions sometimes have a trollish, unpleasant personality. Some suspect that it may be the case of artists projecting their desires onto a character. In contrast, her portrayal in Inaba the Moon, Inaba the Earth shows her as a sheltered person who wants to explore the outside world of Ayante and generally a pleasant, if naive person, and her canon personality is very sociable and nice. Properly related to the above, she's been generally acknowledged to be easier than Ramilia Scarlet, Yuyuko Sayoji, and even sometimes her servant, Eirin Yakokoro. Kaguya is thought to be rather weak for a final boss. As a result, fanworks often depict her as being completely helpless and dependent on Eirin to survive. And her theme song's climactic passage had the words Eirin, Eirin, Tasukete, Eirin set by the fans. Yeah. In more serious doujin works, however, sometimes humorous, Kaguya is often depicted as being driven insane or mentally unhinged as a consequence of her immortality. However, in official works, namely Perfect Mention Strict Sense, Inaba the Moon, Inaba the Earth, put an asterisk next to that for official, and Cage and Lunatic Runagate, she is described as having a more cheerful and pleasant, if somewhat ditzy personality, who likes to tease Reisen and Inaba, just like all of the cast of Ayante. Nicknames. Popular nicknames for Kaguya among her fans in Japan are Teruyo, a deliberate mispronunciation of the kanji in her name, which is sometimes related to her neat personality, and Guya, which is an unusual abbreviation of her first name, omitting Ka. She's even called Neat by some Westerners. I like Guya. Contrast Kaguya's name with Sakui Izayoi, a character speculated to be unrevealed. Connections to the moon and Lunarians, whose name means blossoming night, Sakuya, and the full moon on the 16th night of the lunar month, Izayoi. It also both possesses power of time control. However, it should be remembered that Sakui's current name is not the name given to her at birth. It was given to her by Remilia Scarlet. Kaguya's appearance closely resembles that of Hazuki, the cat-ear-winged vampire girl from the anime Moon Phase. Because of this, Kaguya is often depicted with cat ears, real or fake, on the head, even occasionally uttering lines from the anime's opening song, Nekomimi Mode. The cat and mouse dynamic between Momoko adds another layer to this depiction. I've never seen that in my life. 1 second, chat. 1 sec. Huh. Okay. Talking too much. Okay, where was I? At the time of the launch, lunar orbiting probe fan art depicting Kaguya being sent back to the moon aboard the satellite, usually against her will, was popular. One tribute video even superimposed her theme music over footage of the launch of the rocket. The same probe was later intentionally set crashing into the moon, giving way to a new surge of fan art. Example. Ouch. Okay. Some fans theorize that Kaguya and Mokou in Hopeless Masquerade think that the battles in the games are boring compared to theirs, which is way better and more violent, to the extent that all characters would have no chance of winning against them. Due to having a Hime cut hairstyle similar to Star, Kaguya is often portrayed as Star's doppelganger in fanworks. Fujiwara no Moko. Due to her power of resurrection and ability to control fire, Moko is often depicted as having the same power as the mythical Phoenix. She even has a spell card called Possessed by the Phoenix, an immortal flying bird, even occasionally generating what appears to be a phoenix-shaped aura. Fans like to depict these as wings of fire, but in canon, she only controls the flames of the Phoenix in her spells. The Phoenix is probably more of an aura depicting her immortality. Fandom is divided as to whether or not Moko actually is possessed by a Phoenix, which it would seem redundant, she's already immortal. Whenever Moko is present within something or joins anything or in some way shows up, sometimes one phrase that pops up is Mokotan has come in. Mokotan in Shitao, a phrase that originated from a message board discussion. Because she claims to run a Yakitori stand, she's occasionally shown in fanworks to be at odds with the bird yokai Mystia Lorelei, or ironically as a romantic interest. Yeah, okay. She's also used as occasion to scare Aya Shimemaru after insisting there was no fire in the bamboo forest in the interview with Moko. Fanworks often occasionally depict Moko smoking because of her mentioning cigarettes in Bohemian Archive and Japanese Red. Fanworks frequently depict Moko as a skilled martial artist with an aggressive style, specializing in front kicks enhanced by her power over fire. Sometimes against Hong Mei-ling. Sometimes she's seen fighting with her hands in her pockets. Similarities to Blaziken have been noted. Some fans theorize that Moko and Kaguya in Hopeless Masquerade... yeah, okay. Due to her attire, which consists of a white shirt and red overalls, as well as her ability to cast fire, she has been compared to Mario from the Super Mario series, specifically his fire outfit. Coincidentally, Moko's first alternate color in Antinomy of Common Flowers changes her overalls to green instead, thus resembling Mario's brother, Luigi. What? Mario's brother? No way! Additionally, her second alternate color swap resembles Flying Mario. Chat, what the fuck is Flying Mario? What is Flying Mario? An early fan translation of Imperishable Night included a line of dialogue where Moko said, "My god, jelly donuts are so scary," which has spawned a fair number of memes and references. In the Japanese version, it was reference to the classic Rakugo routine, Manju Kowai, which means Manju is scary. Power from oh, the black and red one? Oh, the black and red one from Galaxy. Yeah. The one that appears in 2 areas in the game, Gateway Galaxy and the Comet Observatory. And you can fly as Mario. Wee. Alright. Next up, chat. We're on Phantasmagoria of Flower View. Sunflower Fairy. The Sunflower Fairies have often been depicted with other fairies such as Dayose and Lily White. Ayaya. Due to Aya including photos of various characters in her news articles, some fan comics portray her as having a habit of taking embarrassing or risque photos as well. Thus, she is sometimes a joke character who is shown as a pervert. Although Bohemian Archive and Japanese Red described Aya as having black wings, you cannot see them in various portraits, such as Shoot the Bullet and Double Spoiler. This led to confusion in many fan works as many artists took liberties on this subject. Various theories have been made regarding the wings, and most commonly accepted explanation is that Aya can magically hide her wings when they're in the way. By the way, chat, did you know that Bohemian Archive and Japanese Red came out 4 days before POFE did? Did you know that? 4 days. Not the demo, the full game. Bohemian Archive came out, showed her with wings, and then 4 days later, Aya was in the game, and she didn't have her wings. Yes, there is a 4-day difference between those two. So Aya's first debut was her book, and then she appeared in Touhou 9. That's a 4-day difference. That's a 4-day difference between that. Crazy, right? In Mountain of Faith, Aya was seen to say her "ayayaya," which has become her catchphrase. Because Zun is seen wearing this, he has been compared to Aya due to the similarity of their clothing. Aya has also been referred to as Zun's girlfriend because of her recurring appearance in the games. Some work of fans depict her alongside a Lockheed SR-71 Blackbird, high-altitude trisonic photo reconnaissance airplane. Both are Blackbirds, carry cameras, and are known for their speed. I've never seen that before. Because her surname appears to have English word shame or sham, many Western fans use this to target Aya, seeing that she appears to be shameless about anything she reports. Her surname is also sometimes spelled Shameless Maru. There's a rather nasty Western fan uproar over Aya appearing in Mountain of Faith with various insulting remarks made against her. The reason for this were general fan outrage at the changes made in the game. Reimu and Murasa are the only... Reimu Missa only, no Master Spark. It's like fucking Fox only Final Destination, no items. Aya getting her own game, Shoot the Bullet, choosing to ignore the underlying facts behind it. The concept predates Aya's creation, and that was a quick project to go up Bohemian Archive and Japanese Red. Yeah, so I don't have the exact one on hand, and it's not situated, but the concept of Shoot the Bullet was an idea that Zun had for a while, and he was able to actually like do it after he made Aya. It's a similar reason why Alice exists in Windows canon, because he had an idea for a yokai human team game, and he took the opportunity to create partner characters with meaning in Touhou 7. That's where Yukari and Alice partially come from, because otherwise the main characters would have been partnered up with, like, you know, you don't want to introduce partner characters brand new, so all the characters who showed up as playable characters had, you know, an aspect to them that worked well with the character they're paired with. Obviously, servant and master, but then Reimu and Murasa was Alice and Yukari, and they were designed to contrast. These days, the incident is seen in a negative light, and fan opinion of Aya is higher compared to then. Yes, because Aya is great. We love Aya. Aya was the previous Mamizo. More like Aya was the previous Sanae. Come on now. Medicine Melancholy. She's associated with Alice Murgatroyd and fanworks for obvious reasons. Obvious reasons? Fans have given her the tiny doll the name Susan. The term Komparo is associated with her due to her saying Komparo, Komparo, poison gathers. In her ending in Phantasmagoria Flower View, Komparo is an incorrectly abbreviated romanization of Konvalocide, a poison found in Lily of the Valley flowers. It should have been Konbaro or Konvaro instead. It's not as cute. Though a playable character and opponent in one of the Touhou Project games, she tends to end up being behind most Touhou Windows characters in popularity polls, and like Shizuha Aki and Minariko Aki, becomes somewhat notable for her relative unpopularity. She's sometimes depicted with Yuka Kazumi in fanworks because they're both related to flowers, and fan art commonly depicts medicine with doll joints. Komachi Onoduka. Komachi is a type of character who's associated with to spirits and death, and she's sometimes used in fan games to fairy. F-A-R-R-Y. Fairy. Is that how you spell fairy? I thought fairy was used as the action and the object as well. Is fairy the verb here? Or is this just wrong? The character over a river, mostly the river Zanzu. Yeah, but I know it's with an E. But fairy can refer to like the boat itself, right? But I don't know, maybe ferry, F-A-R-R-Y, refers to the action of actually, like, ferrying? Oh, it's just a typo. Okay. It's just a typo. Alrighty. I don't know, man. Sometimes I learn that some words exist. Fan art tends to portray Komachi as being very large-chested, perhaps based off the remark of her being tall and imposing in perfect memento and strict sense. Her art depiction in Scarlet Rhapsody is remarkable for being one of the few characters with a visible bust. She's also shown in Fandom to tease Eiki about the differences in bust size, as it's Fandom Eiki is most of these cases, usually ends painfully for her as she hits or pokes Komachi with her rod of remorse. In Fandom, Komachi's already considerable lazy napping streak is exaggerated to often absurd levels, having her nap most of the day away and simply do nothing at all, which is again leads to Eiki lecturing her, even punishing her for different extents. To a lesser extent, she appears as an older sister figure for characters such as Chirno, likely based off of her victory quote against her. Now, I have never seen that before in my life. Komachi is the older sister that you don't want your kid hanging out with, alright? Because she makes a bunch of dark humor jokes. She's a bad influence. Komachi is sometimes paired up with Yugi Hoshiguma, powerful, shapely woman, or Hong Mei-ling, strong, redhead, shapely, lazy. Up to Hisso Tensoko's release, fans were looking forward to how the two would interact. Sadly, all they got were some versus mode win lines. Miscellaneous. Due to the use of Komachi's kanji and last word theme in Imperishable Night, the use of this has been used in the title of several Komachi dojins. If you don't know what that means, the last word theme is Eastern Yokai Beauty, and Komachi's name means basically like small town beauty. So the kanji, I guess, for beauty is the same one used in Komachi's name to the title for that. Her ability to see people's lifespans is often joked. Yeah, Komachi makes 2 Death Note references in Scarlet with a Rhapsody. One of them might actually be in his Tensoku. Who cares? Semantics at that point. Occasionally, in some fanworks, her name title is shortened and interpreted as Yamada. Yamada is a very common Japanese name, family name, the Japanese equivalent of being called, for example, Smith in England or Perez in Spanish, because the name is consisted of simply kanji, both the most basic kanji where the grade schooler starts to learn. With bland meanings, literally it means mountain rice field. So using it, a considerably notable character like her sounds quite phony in Japanese. Though Yamazanadu as her title is often mistaken for her last name. This results in jokes making fun of her the excessive length of her name. Many fans call her Eiki-sama, using the honorific title, also Eiki-sama, a more casual version of it. Many Japanese Touhou fans tend to mistype her first name Eiki as pronounced Eiki. Wow, cool. This is because the reading of ki is rarely used, so the IME commonly converts it into the latter one. This is also the case in Hopeless Masquerade. Eiki is the usual choice in fanworks, but the plot requires a judge for obvious reasons. In fan art, she is sometimes depicted as short, or even a baby compared to Komachi, but she's actually in the height range of Komachi when seen in the ending of Phantasmagoria and Flower View. I've mentioned that about almost 3 times now in my videos. In fact, I could have used that as my fun fact, but I decided not to because I've already done it so many fucking times. She's also very often depicted as an elementary child in many fanworks, which is due to her drawing in Perfect Memento and Strict Sense and Grimoire Murasa. Perfect Memento, not so much, but yes, the Grimoire Murasa art for Eiki is ridiculous. A possible reason behind Lollyama is to artificially create extra contrast with Komachi and play up the breast envy angle. Or maybe it has something to do with Bleach's Rengiku Matsumoto and her short boss. Okay, I don't know anything about Bleach. As an extension of this, fanworks often depict her as aggressive against other people with larger breasts to the point of even arbitrarily sending them to hell out of envy. Some fan artists portray Eiki as being envious of Komachi's bust size in particular, though sending Komachi to hell usually isn't an option. It's quite common for the fan artists to draw Eiki with magnificent legs. She's highly popular with devotees of Zettai Yoki, Absolute Territory, a fashion involving short skirts and thigh-high stockings that often leave only a highly specific and measurable section of a girl's bare thighs visible between the tops of the stockings and the skirt. Canonically, her fashion is to wear very short frilly socks, leaving her legs mostly bare skin. Who wrote this? Why have the last, fucking 5 bulletins just been about boobs and leg? Because of her job and Komachi's attitude, she's usually seen striking Komachi with the rod of remorse for being a slacker. However, amusingly enough, fans have also speculated this could just be a tsunduru attitude towards her Shinigami. A lot of fan works also portray Eiki as a bit of short-tempered grouch who will sentence people to hell for any arbitrary reason. But this conflicts with her personality in Phantasmagoria Flower View, where she's stern but patient and is constantly smiling, even when having to reveal someone's shortcomings. In fact, she spends a lot of time lecturing people on their shortcomings and sins for the sole purpose of getting them to repent before they will have to be judged. In her opinion, hell does not exist to punish sinners. Hell exists to ensure that no one sins. Some of the fanworks portray Eiki with Satori Komachi since they are indirectly connected by their occupation. Eiki belongs to the Ministry of Right and Wrong, which used to govern the former Hell, where now Satori has taken its role. And also because they have the ability item to read people's minds. That's talking about their mirror, the crystal mirror. At the conclusion of Zun's A Beautiful Flower Blooming Violet Every 60 Years, Yukari Yakumo uses the phrase, cannot defy/oppose them, when referring to Eiki. And her and Yuyuko leave before she arrives. While most explanations for this center around Eiki being hard to deal with and annoying along with being the judge against Sokyo, some fans have interpreted this to mean that Eiki would not be able to be defeated by them. Some fanworks portray Eiki's lectures as overly long, from taking a few hours to a full day for her to finish speaking. Could you imagine if Eiki showed up and she was like, alright, now I'm going to go over everything that's wrong with you, and you're there for a whole day. Here's everything that'll get you sent to hell right now and how to fix it, and you're there for a whole fucking day. Oh my god. Oof. Couldn't be me, boys. Couldn't be me. Mountain of Faith. Shizuha Aki and Minariko Aki. They get to share a category, huh? Alright. Despite being older than her sister, Shizuha only appears as a mid-boss on her stage and has no dialogue in the game. This has led most doujin authors to represent Shizuha as an immature and unreliable older sister who depends on her younger sister for everything. I've never seen that personally. She's sometimes shown to be jealous of her sister's greater popularity among humans and her curvier figure. I have seen that. Since the sisters are the spirits of autumn and disappear during winter, and Letty Whiterock is the spirit of winter, fans suggest a rivalry between them. This leads to depictions of Shizuha openly attacking Letty. After all, she's a spirit of autumn and despises winter. Because the sisters were ranked the lowest of the Windows characters in the 5th annual Touhou popularity poll, with Minariko at 54th and Shizuha at 52nd, there's a running joke in Japan that they're original characters, i.e. fan-made characters with negligible presence in the games. An increase in popularity in 2008 when they were introduced as representing one of the 4 seasons, when many people didn't even know they actually showed up in the games. There's a doujin anthology project dedicated to the Aki sisters, perhaps to compensate for this. In later years, Minariko's theme has dramatically increased in rank since the 6th Touhou popularity poll. The Aki sisters have experienced an increase in 22 ranks for Minariko and 18 ranks for Shizuha when all new characters from the games after Mountain of Faith aren't considered. In later years, the sisters possibly reached a stable position, staying around the 50th place. Oh, when was this written? When the fuck was this written? In most fan art, Minariko is shown to be curvier than Shizuha. The exact reason isn't known, but it's speculated it's due to her being the goddess of harvest and bountiful crops, while Shizuha is a leaf goddess. Naturally, there's jokes about her bumper crops. This has led to a case of Shizuha molesting her sister on top of occasionally being jealous of Minariko's figure. Minariko is often considered a bit more popular than Shizuha for this reason and being an actual boss. On Shizuha's character portrait, the leaves on her head roughly resemble a crab, if they're seen as a single piece rather than 2. This occasionally leads to her being associated with one, the leaves on her head being replaced by one, or herself replaced by one in fanworks. What the fuck is a crab? What are you talking about? I kind of see it. I kind of see it, but it's like also what? What the fuck? Crab. How ridiculous could you get? Alright. Aoneko, noted to be one of the biggest fans of the Aki sisters, started an Aki sisters only video website called AkiTube. Even though Shizuha's character portrait sprite and each of her printwork appearances show the bottom of her dress as being shaped like leaves, many fans omit the details and instead draw her dress as a straight edge. That's actually not true. That is actually not true. Straight up, that is a lie. That's not true. I thought of this myself. When I was doing my inconsistency video, I looked at Shizuha's character and I was like, surely people don't draw this. But no. If you look at Shizuha art, the people who draw Shizuha like Shizuha. They respect her dress. Many fans do not omit the leaf pattern on the bottom of her dress. Many fans include it. Many fans include it. So this is just blatantly incorrect. Whoever wrote that is stuck in the past. When you're not a very popular character, you can bet your ass the fans are actually drawing like the proper outfit. The quality and quantity. So yeah, that is just straight up wrong. And I looked, because I thought it was the same deal myself, but I looked, and no. Shizuha fan art, more often than not, actually does get the dress correct. Fans tend to call Midoriko by her nickname Mirorin. Nobody has ever called her that. Okay, whoever wrote this article should be fired. Alright? Maybe they already were. Fucking Jesus. Blatant misinformation everywhere. Oh, it's so everywhere. Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up. Alright. Hina. Hina's unusual spinning during battle has been included in many fan works, which may have been spinning constantly as a ritual for gathering misfortune or simply because she enjoys it. This has resulted in comparisons between her and Wallachia from Melty Blood due to Wallachia spinning a lot and screaming, "Reverse at the birth, reverse death, reverse the world, and spin, 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 Hina, spin." Some mostly humorous depictions show her as addicted to or even aroused by misfortune. While she doesn't have any canon relationships, she's almost exclusively paired with Nitori Kawashiro due to their proximity. Both live on the Yokai Mountain and are consecutive stage bosses. Their similar circumstances as friendly but isolated yokai. Her abilities also led to pairings with unfortunate characters such as Parsi Mizuhashi. This is a recurring meme associated in Hina with a gothic theme. Oh. Nitori. A traditional depiction of Kappa shows a bald spot at the top of their heads. Rumor has it that her hat is concealing that bald spot. However, Zun discredited this rumor during a discussion on 2 Channel after Mountain of Faith was released. Some fans' work depicts her carrying a Pepsi Ice cucumber in place of the reed she normally has. She's also sometimes depicted wearing a school swimsuit under her dress. Yes, that's my favorite interpretation of Nitori. Is they all wear the skumizu under their Kappa gear, because they're always in the water, so they wear something that's more appropriate for the water. But all their inventions are waterproof. One of the earliest fan-made vocal arrangements of Nitori's theme, Nitori's song Moe, has lyrics that translate as Kappa Papa Kappa Papa Nitori. You can get more than you pay for with Nitori. The latter part from the slogan of the Nitori store chain and several doujinshi have made it something of an unofficial slogan for her as well, appearing on various products created by her. A reference to Kappa Papa subsequently appeared in Subterranean Animism. Is that true? I don't know if that's true. It's speculated that Nitori is one of the Kappa who helped Suwako Moria in the construction of Hiso Tensoku. Nitori was given an unofficial half-sister called Mitori Kawashiro. See article link for more information. Tori is often shown to be friends with PC98 character Rika. Often is a strong word. They're both engineers. They both work on tanks together. Some may sometimes appear with Yumemi and Rikako. Can't say I've ever really seen art with those characters. Hold on, chat. I got a bug in my throat. God damn it. It's so annoying. I talk so much and it builds up. Getting old. I'm getting old. Aside from Minosuke, Morichika, and Yukari Yakumo, Nitori is considered to be the most technologically advanced in the Touhou universe, often showing her capacity to construct modern futuristic weapons and machinery in fan works. Even when Nitori doesn't appear in person, fan art often uses Nitori as a brand name on electronic equipment such as Ayashimimaru's camera. Nitori has sometimes crossed over with Gordon Freeman due to her crowbar in Yulil. Momiji. Because Momiji is a white wolf tengu, even though some early fan work showed her looking indistinguishable from a human, it's become common to depict her with ears and a tail off a wolf. Her eyes are often shown to be red to fit in with the colors of her costume. It has been common for fans to call her Momiji Momi. Some fans have said Momiji needs her Momi. What? Huh? Since her profile, see below, says she has very cooperative personality and executes her duties faithfully, many fan works depict her as acting like a loyal, affectionate puppy. According to her profile, she likes to play daishogi with the kappa, and thus sometimes depicted as friends with Nitori Kawashiro. There's a fan version of Momiji called Mofuji, which depicts Momiji as a puffball similar to a Kedama, like Momiji-like features. See the search at Safeboru for examples. I think I will because I've never seen that before. Hold on. Just in case it takes me somewhere bad. Looks good to me. Puffy. Puffy. Momiji Momeni. Momeni Miji. Oh, hold on. This from Luna Nights? I think this is from Luna Nights. Oh, whoops. Closed it. My bad. Back to it. Double spoiler features Momiji's spell card called Dog Sign Rabies Bite. Momiji has rabies jokes are sometimes used throughout the fan base. Spell card is also popular in various fan works, including song and accompanying flash video Biosis, Defense of the Shrines, Warcraft mod, and some others. Okay. Sanae. Oh boy. Since the release of Undefined Fantastic Object and Touhou Hisotensoku, Sanae's popular image has shifted from soft-spoken and demure to markedly eccentric with her knowledge of robots, anime, and enthusiasm for aliens. Mountain of Faith hinted at this eccentric streak long before Unidentified Fantastic Object came out, but since this happened only in the endings, it remained relatively obscure. That's so funny. One of the funniest things in Touhou is when an aspect of a character is completely missed by the greater majority of fans, and the reason is because the information required you to beat the game. That shit cracks me up. This is a subtle nod to the Touhou fans have never beaten a Touhou game. That shit is so funny to me. When you only get information from an ending, and so the greater majority does not know it. I think that shit is so funny. Sanae's appearance in Satori animism was unexpected by many due to the fact that she says you can't let yourself be held back by common sense against Sokyo, right? And her Miracle Fruit spell card sounding cute and girly while all the other spell cards from Mountain of Faith sounded much more stoic had earned her the nickname of Fruits Lol, based on the Sweets Lol label referring to airheaded girls who follow fads without really understanding them. In other words, Sanae is seen as a kind of a ditz. Sanae's ditziness is somewhat supported by the title she got in Wildhorn Hermit, Superficial and Shallow Human. Wow, that's mean. Another nickname among the Japanese fans is Zettai Yuro Sanae, a pun of Zettai Yuro Sanae, absolutely unforgiving. This is due to her aggressiveness towards yokai, particularly Kogasa Tatara. The nickname is usually combined with a picture of her smug expression from Undefined Fantastic Object against a yellow and red striped background, the flag of Macedonia, which is a parody of the famous meme of Futaba channel, Maji Resu, a serious reply to a troll joke post. Some fans have diagnosed Sanae as suffering from chunibyo. Since Sanae is originally from the outside world, some fans draw her in a schoolgirl uniform. By extension, the results is Sanae being shown as flirtatious, if not outright forward in doujins, and is a factor being behind her having a curvy figure, modern eating compared to Gensokyo's more traditional fare. But she lives in Gensokyo now, so her diet, come on now. The other being her divine ancestry, oh, of course. Since Sanae's outfit is similar to Reimu's, yeah. Fans often refer to her as Player 2 Reimu or 2-Player Reimu, a character who, just like in most computer games, will take over Reimu's position as if Reimu as Player 1 is knocked out. It makes it more fun if there's an alternate palette of Reimu that resembles Sanae's outfit. With Reimu's red outfit and Sanae's green hair, there's even a running gag equating the two Shrine Maidens to Mario and Luigi. Sanae is a good girl has surfaced as a meme in the English-speaking community as a result of page 29 from a Happy Flame Times comic entitled Cold Winter but Warm Winter. The meaning of this could go two ways. It could be speaking in a literal sense, or it could indicate that Sanae is a naughty girl in questionable contents. Some Western Touhou fans have noticed that when Sanae moves horizontally in the undefined fantastic object, her pose resembles Superman. Because of Sanae's appearance in numerous titles, many fans in the West have drawn parallels with her with Aya Shimemaru and refers to as Zun's other girlfriend. In addition, since Sanae is often seen as somewhat ditzy and large-chested, as well as the fact that she is strongly associated with both the Miko and schoolgirl fetishes, various Japanese fans, including a number of doujin artists, also portray her in a simply lascivious manner. The backlash is very slight, but longer-lasting compared with Aya. Mostly from people who are annoyed at the lack of Sakuya and those that are increasingly annoyed at how the Moria Shrine is gaining plot relevance. These are some people mockingly joke that Sanae will become the new main character. The revelation that Sanae is unplayable and both Hopeless Masquerade and Double Dealing character has raised a few questions from fans, particularly as fans were expecting her in the former due to its religion-based plot. Undefined Fantastic Object and Touhou Hisotensoku has made Sanae rather popular, though the true extent is hard to tell as she's been placed below the top 10 in recent popularity contests. Oh man. I like this window into the past. This is all happening. This was all happening in like 2009, 2010, chat. Like 14 years ago. I was in middle school. God damn. Kanako. In humorous fan art, Kanako often depicted as a robot or an RX-772 gun cannon from Mobile Suit Gundam due to the faith pillars that attach to their back during the final encounter in Mountain of Faith. Kanako is sometimes called by the other nickname Misai, which comes from Misai Nohara in Crown Shinchan. This is mostly due to the fact that Kanako's hairstyle resembles the notable and common styles of Misai, often called Misai hair, which gave her the strong impression of it in the first appearance. There's also a specific scene in canon in this relation. In Marissa B's ending in Mountain of Faith, Kanako drills Marissa's head with her fists. The commonly known Misai's head drill is, lost where I was. Commonly known Misai head drill in Japan because she built a small shrine in the Forest of Magic, which is rarely visited by people. I didn't know that. Kanako is also depicted with Yukari, yeah, with the character, yeah, it means old hag. Yes, yes, yes. Due to how Mountain of Faith events appear, fans first assumed Kanako as a scheming mastermind, but as time went on and more of Kanako's plans were shown to fail, this interpretation became less popular. Ironically, recent events have revealed her to be fond of various projects, such as the dam or the sky trolley, meant to gather faith, most of which encountering some sort of trouble. Suwako. Among the Touhou fandom, Suwako's hat has almost become an entity of its own, generally referred to as Pyonta-kun, largely thanks to the imposing leer of the eyes on the top. Sometimes the hat is depicted as a parasitic or even Suwako's actual body. Suwako is heavily symbolized as a frog. While Chirno freezes frogs, this results in a rivalry in the fan base. The frog jokes include relationships with Super Mario Bros. 3 and Hypnotoad. Because of that, Suwako is commonly called Kero-chan, which appears in a spell card, Kero-chan Brave the Wind and Rain. Well, that's now been translated as Froggy Braves the Wind and Rain. The nickname was mentioned, for example, in Tetlapot's PV of Silver Forest song Kero 9 Destiny. In New Super Marissa Land, the Suwako hat power-up works just like the frog suit in Super Mario Bros. 3. Marissa also takes on the stance Suwako has in the fighting games being made by the same developers. The phrase uttered in Reimu's route in the extra stage has also become a bit of a popular saying attributed to her, as well as a way to refer to her. It's also mentioned by that same song. That explains why her line in the Touhou Can You Name It song is Kero Kero Au Suwako. Ombashira Yasaka Kanako Kero Kero Au Suwako. Although New Huju is the first of character officially drawn with Zettai Yoki, Suwako has almost always been drawn this way in fan art, even before Touhou Hisoku was released. Misaguji commonly appears in fan works, often depicted with Suwako. Tenma. Tenma's gender is unknown. The association with Mata, as mentioned above, may imply that Tenma is male. However, in fact, Tenma is often depicted as female, sometimes drawn with black wings, short silver hair, and tokin. That's you can see that with puppet play. There's a Tenma puppet in that, but Tenma has never been seen. Alright, moving on to subterranean animism. Give it up for day 15. Kisume. Upon the release of the demo of Subterranean Animism, fans immediately dubbed Kisume Bucket Ranka, named after Ranka Lee from Across Frontier due to their similarity in appearance. Western fans dubbed her Bucket Lolly. Fan artists interpret the clothes before they were revealed she was wearing inside the bucket as either a white-collared blouse or a gi. Perhaps due to her sharing the same stage as Yamame Kurodani, fan works with her and Yamame and somehow Parsi Mizuhashi are common. Another recent meme has Kisume depicted in fan art with her bucket humorously containing everything she needs to stay alive as well as numerous luxuries such as having a home bigger on the inside, thus making sure she never has to leave it. This parallels to another recent, where was I? Parallels to the character Sheldon from Jim Davis's U.S. Acres comic strip, also animated as part of Garfield and Friends, a baby chick who refuses and unsuccessfully tried to hatch out of his egg, but has everything he needs inside of it, though the similarities may be coincidental. Some fans tend to portray her inside of other objects, such as a stroller being pushed by Satori, a basket in a flash video, and a bed, still not showing her full outfit. Fans upon seeing Zun's rather joking remark about her being fond of cutting off heads in Symposium of Post-Mysticism took it awfully seriously and started to work into it some recent fan arts depicting her as horribly vicious. While this trend has died down, this has become a sore spot for a portion of fans. However, some artists have taken to drawing her with Yukari as an alternative. Man, that must suck. That must suck for the 10 Kisume fans in the world. Yamame. Because of Yamame being upside down on the demo CD, it didn't take long for fan art of her hanging upside down to come out. Fans were disappointed when she didn't do this in the actual game. Because she's a spider yokai, pairings of her with Wriggle Nightbug are common, because spiders eat bugs. Since Kisume has no known relationships but appears as a mid-boss in Yamame stage, sometimes along with Parsi and Yugi, they've often depicted as knowing one another in fan works. Parsi. Due to her picture in Subterranean Animism, she's often depicted as having elven-like ears. Because of her jealous nature, Parsi has joined Alice Margatroyd as a fanon-designated tsunduru. Sometimes fans refer to her as Paru, sometimes with more Parus added, such as the popular videos like Paru. Paru C is frequently paired with fan works with Yugi Hoshiguma despite there being no official indication that they've even met. Some fans tend to think of her as lonely because of their theme, the bridge people no longer cross, and also the fact that she's a bridge princess, which in folklore is waiting for her lover, making it obvious that some fans tend to portray her waiting for said lover to return. One artist created a version of Parsi known as Purusi, a jiggling cat chibi version of Parsi that's generally shown doing various things. Some artists have since made a few similar versions of other characters. Its popularity is mixed, as some like it while others are mainly annoyed by how the sudden mass uploading interferes with surfing. Due to her appearance in Hopeless Masquerade, she's been frequently associated with the Soon meme by Westerners. Yugi. For some reason, she is commonly called Sister, Ne-san or Ane-san by fans, and may be related to how she comes off as a big sister figure to many other smaller characters in fan works. That's a pretty common trope for big ladies. There's also once a post on the Touhou image board explaining why one can't judge characters' power levels for how powerful they are in-game. The whole post was quite humorous because of its fairly bad grammar and typos, but the most amusing and memorable line was essay, Yugi only playing around, Woth, sick you, her sake not even drop! This has become a meme among Western fans. Wait, that's a good line. That's a good line, I like that line. Yugi only playing around, Wathu, her sake not even drop. The capitalization sells it, man. Yugi is frequently portrayed as having a large bust size due to an unofficial promotional flyer by Alfie's released before the release of Subterranean Animism. Ironically, the rest of Alfie's official art isn't anywhere as shapely as that picture. The trend may have been inspired by the desire to contrast Shikobuki, or later on parts of Mizuhashi, that are the desire for a powerful, shapely Oni. Yugi is frequently paired fanworks of Parsi, no notification they met. Fans often depict her in a gym outfit that swaps her skirt for a school gym shorts. Well, you see the bloomers under them sometimes. Another common depiction of her as an extremely muscular woman, which in tune with her great physical strength to some extent have a masculine form. Satori. Because of how her hands are coming out of her sleeves, only at her waist to her portrait, some fans believe that Satori has very short arms and draw her as such. However, most artists draw her arms at normal length. A common nickname for Satori is Satorin, similar to how Yukari Yakumo is called Yukarin. Due to her ability to read minds and similarly of her third eye to Backbeard of You Damn Dirty Lolicon fame, a growing joke among fan artists depicts Satori as cognizant of and disgusted by Lolicon. Similarly, it has become common for fan art to break down the kanji of Satori into its component radicals and add the katakana, spelling out Shogugori, read as 5th grade elementary student lolly. Her apparently small stature in her portrait seems to add to this. It is thus not uncommon to see her depicted wearing a Japanese elementary schooler's book satchel on her back. That explains a lot. Okay. Western Touhou fans have noted a similarity between Satori's design and an image making fun of Zun's drawing style. It is unknown if this is a coincidence or if Zun is aware of this image. So if you've never seen this image, chat, this image is Zun teaches drawing. How to draw. There you go. Draw a silly hat or bonnet. There's no decoration. She will die. Go to eBay, pick doll dress, pick a random design. Draw a flesh-colored tube for legs. Don't worry about drawing knees, ankles, other anatomy parts. Your audience won't notice. Give her a face and huge bug eyes. Her smile must always be crooked and off-centered. Avoid drawing hands at all costs by hiding them behind clothing or other objects. If you draw them, imagine a water balloon with sausages sticking out of it. That's how you should draw hands. Randomly add ribbons and frills to her outfit. The more you add, the better your character design. There you go. So true, bestie. Okay. Satori's third eye is frequently portrayed in fanworks as has a mind of its own, reflected by expressions that do not match Komachi's facial expression and body language. Why are we calling her Komachi all of a sudden? Satori's portrait and the smug face depicted on it are popular amongst fans for unknown reasons. What do you mean, unknown reason? Who wrote this? Huh? What do you mean, unknown reasons? Satori's smug face is popular for unknown... What do you mean, unknown? It seems pretty obvious why it's popular, dude. Unknown reasons. Kainbyorin. Relationships. Rin is most commonly shown with Satori, Koishi, and Ryuji. She is sometimes depicted in fan art fighting with Chen. Also, a zombie fairy can usually be seen with Rin in fan art. Rin's dance. The dance she does in Hopeless Masquerade has become a meme in the Western fan base. It involves an animated gif of her dancing and is usually placed on images that are either depressing, usually in the case of death, exciting, or involving a party. The gif may also be seen in compilations of gifs depicting dancing. Name. Rin is commonly referred to as just Orin instead of her full name because that's how her in-game boss title in Subterranean Animism. The name Orin Rin has been a standard way of referring to her. So, I said no vocals. Where was I? The name Orin has also been a standard way of referring to her. Oh, that is it? I just say that because it's funny. Orin is fun to say. Cat versus human. Careful observers will notice that Rin has both human ears and cat ears. You don't need to be a careful observer, my guy. This has led to some fan art where she takes off her cat ears, only in a few rare cases the other way around. She's often depicted acting extremely cat-like while in human form, or vice versa when cat form. Also, fans usually depict Rin as retaining her cattails in her humanoid form, despite them not appearing in official artworks until Hopeless Masquerade. Shou. Rin is sometimes paired with Shou, not only because of their feline characteristics, but due to the fact they're both Stage 5 bosses who in the past were not playable characters. And every other Stage 5 boss up to Legacy of Lunatic Kingdom was a playable character in some fashion. This led to them to being depicted as feeling sad or annoyed that they would never be playable in a game. However, this trend was broken with the introduction of Rin as a playable character in Unfinished Dream of All Living Ghosts, but not Shou! But not Shou! Now Shou is alone! Zombie Fairy. Despite the grimoire Murasa confirming that the zombie fairies are merely normal fairies pretending to be dead, they're sometimes depicted as actually being dead. Some artists draw them as zombies or ghosts. A zombie fairy can usually be seen with Rinkaimyo in fan art. Ryuji Utsuho. Her right foot is supposed to be encased in concrete, representing either the concrete sarcophagus that was built to contain the Chernobyl reactor or the cement-like corinium found inside, but is often depicted in fan art as a gray ruffled leg warmer or an armored greave. The electrons orbiting her other leg are also often emitted in fan art, and sometimes the control rod on her arm is too. Alternatively, the control rod on her arm is directly portrayed as removable, which is a matter of debate since she has been displayed without it in canon. Because of her likely homage to Souther of Hokuto no Ken, fans sometimes call her signature technique Nanto no Oku Ken Ogi, Tensho Juji Ho. Because Utsu is manipulated by Kanako, seems to have similar and boastful personality, and is called a bird brain, Toritama. Interesting, the phrase bird brain means idiot in both English and Japanese. By Oren, she's often considered an idiot by fans. Yeah, Ogi drop. Ogi guest appearance. It's the only appearance we'll have of him tonight. Isn't that sad? Zun also indirectly calls her an idiot in her theme song's description. This leads to the comparison with Churno or pairings with inevitable cold fusion jokes. And Utsu sometimes called Red Oku, since one reading of the number 9 is Ku. Oh, okay. She's also sometimes called 6, an inverted 9, since she's the stage 6 boss and her powers are somewhat opposite of Churno's. Until hits Tetsuko in Sanae's story, she's called a bird brain by Sanae, forgot why she was fighting her in the first place, and then followed Sanae's orders while being told she's been doing that before the fight. In Raisin's script, Raisin calls her a moron. Aki also mentions in Symposium Post Mystic article that she's a bird brain. In addition to her tall stature, fans tend to give her large breasts and a striking figure, which seems to contrast her simple-minded and sometimes childish personality. Unyu has become her catchphrase in fanon after she said it once in the extra stage prologue. Oh, that's where she said that? In the Japanese fan community, the pairing of Tenshi Hinanai and her is called Tenku, pair from Tenshi and Oku. They use the golden peach bomber. They're a pairing in the Touhou tag team dojin. Tenshi and Oku. It's crazy. In the online action RPG, wait, hold on. Some fans of the Japanese community associate Utsu with association football because the symbol of the Japan Football Association is the Yatagarasu. In the online action RPG Path of Exile, an item exists called the Infernal Mantle, which closely resembles Utsu's outfit. Many fans think of Utsu's theme Solar Sector Mystic Wisdom Nuclear Fusion as referencing Yumemi Okazaki's theme Strawberry Crisis, and Kanako's theme the Venerable Ancient Battlefield Suwa Foughten Field. This can symbolize Utsu's receiving the power of the gods from Kanako, which takes the form of a power based in physics, itself a form of magic from the outside world like Yumemi's. What? Okay. Okay. Koishi Komeiji. Koishi is often drawn with some sort of connection to Flandels, since both are extra bosses who are younger sisters of their owners of the mansion of their respective games, as well as being explicably noted as stronger than their siblings and being isolated from them. Depictions of her with Nuhuju are also common. The latter is often associated with Flandel, due to her being a similar sounding theme. I've never heard the similarities. Koishi in fanon is usually kooky, sometimes often overly affectionate, so particularly to her sister. Otherwise, she might be merely zany or an utterly unrepentant sadist, most infamously so in the Koishi Komeiji's heart-throbbing adventure video series. Said video series, combined with her genuinely horrifying last word spell in Urban Legend Limbo, is widely believed to have caused a massive jump in her popularity. Yeah, poor Koishi. Her prominent aspect of her fan base comes from something like that. Since there are any aspects of Koishi are reference to psychology, there's a running joke that her Embers of Love spell card is a reference to the phallic obsession of Freudian psychology. For those that do not get the hint, look closely at the shape of the bullets. Oh, they took out the line. Oh, they took out the line. Somebody edited out the line. What the fuck? That line used to say... Okay, I actually posted it before on Twitter, so I have the line. It's on my Twitter. But the original line there, for some no fun allowed person edited it out, said that if you It said, although if you see penises in her hearts, then you have then there's a problem with your brain. You have too much penis on the mind. That's why you're seeing them. Basically, it was insulting people. Like, if you see a penis and a heart, then that means you have more penis on your mind than you should. And I was like, that's funny. And somebody removed it. Check the edit history. I don't know how to do that. But somebody changed it because they are no fun allowed. But they didn't. So they changed that, but they didn't change the part where the popularity poll information on Minariko and Shizuha has been outdated for 50 years. Who runs this shit, man? Who runs this shit? I want to talk to their boss. Some jokes have been made about the Hartman and her theme title referring to the infamous drill sergeant from the movie Full Metal Jacket. Though not as common, some jokes have been made referring to the cartoonist Butch Hartman instead. Koishi is commonly shown to wander around Gensokyo without being noticed. She's sometimes shown standing next to other characters in plain sight and watching what they're doing without being acknowledged. Her ability to manipulate the unconscious mind for those around her, removing her from others' perceptions, has been described as somebody else's problem field. As in the Frida Kahlo painting, The Two Fridas, some fan works display the cords attached to her third eye as being severed, while Satori's remain intact. Some fans believe that her name and her hat are a reference to Doraemon's gadget Ishikorobushi, Rock Hat, which makes its wearer unnoticeable, just as Koishi's ability does. Wait, is that why the stone mask in Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask makes you invisible? Is the stone mask a reference to Doraemon? The Rock Hat? I'd assume so, because Doraemon's fucking huge. But I didn't know that. You put a stone hat on, nobody can see you. You put the stone mask on, nobody can see you either. Some fans compare to Bill Cipher from Gravity Falls due to both of them having similar abilities, being considered insane, being extremely powerful yet mysterious, and having an association with eyes. Okay. Undefined fantastic object. Alright, chat. So, I'm not gonna finish this today. I'm gonna do undefined and fantastic object, and then we'll leave the rest, and we should be able to finish from that, because UFO is gonna push us to the 2-hour mark. UFO is gonna push us to the 2-hour mark, and then we have 3, 6, we have 7 games left after that, and spin-offs, and music CDs, and print works. So that's a whole category in itself. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're doing 6 today, and it's the chunkier characters. So we have 7 plus more for next time. So we're going to do UFO today. Nazrin. As she's a mouse yokai, fans believe she'll be chased after by Chen or Rin Kainbyo, which became common in fanworks. Some fans compare the prisms of her last spell card with Ramil from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Some fans call her the Chen of Undefined Fantastic Object due to her coming back as a stronger mid-boss to another, more powerful animal yokai. Unlike Chen, she isn't a cutesy servant to Shou, but closer to put upon servant due to Shou's antics chronologically losing things in fanon, but she is cute. As she's the only member of Minamitsu's crew who doesn't have a specific reason for being devoted to Byakuren and Hijiri, fanon occasionally portrays her as disliking or even despising her. What is the word occasionally, man? Come on. The most common reason is the thought that Shou likes Byakuren more than her, which leads to a jealous Nazrin considering her a nemesis of some sort. Has anyone ever seen that? I haven't. In World of Warcraft, a quest called A Tiny Clever Commander involves killing Commander Nazrim, a reference to Nazrin in her theme name. There's a Japanese URL shortener called Nazr.in, which is named after her and contains images of her. Oh. Oh. Kogasi. Due to Rainbow A's scenario Undefined Fantastic Object, where Kogasa utters the word sadism, even though Rainbow points out that it should be the opposite. The phrase sadism, sadizumo, has been made a meme associated with Kogasa. She's often depicted as bullied by Sanae Kochiya, possibly because of Sanae's cold words in her dialogue in Undefined Fantastic Object, although Rainbow's dialogue with her was a lot colder in comparison. Yeah, but that's Rainbow. Because she's the only character who's not involved in the main plot of Undefined Fantastic Object, many fanworks include her with Nuhuju because of her appearance in the extra stage. Fans have noticed that she looks similar to Yuka Kazumi in style. They both have short hair, they wield an umbrella. Since that most fans think she's the new yokai moe, in which Yuka was originally described as by Zun in Kyogyoku. There's been some question as to which is the actual Kogasa, the girl or the umbrella. A number of people have expressed their opinion that the girl is merely a spiritual extension of the true Katakase Obake. The opinion is supported by the fact that the umbrella has Geta at the bottom. However, this debate was answered in Symposium and Post-Mythicism, clarifying that both the girl and the umbrella are Kogasa, and the two can't be separated, presumably not without what basically be the equivalent of chopping or ripping off a limb or head of a normal person. Fucked up comparison, but sure. Oh no, I lost my umbrella. Thud. Kogasa, you alright? You alright, champ? You okay? Jesus. She's similar to Chen in Perfect Cherry Blossom in that she's a similar ability. What? And that she appears as both bosses of Stage 2 and an extra stage mid-boss, but unlike Chen, she has no relation to the boss of the extra stage. What does she mean, similar ability? What does it mean? You mean like strength, or do you mean like actual ability? I'm not even sure what their abilities are. She's often depicted in fan art with her blue eye closed or concealed behind her hair to further emphasize the one-eyed effect depicted in her official art. Similarly, she's frequently depicted standing on one leg. I actually noticed that when I was doing my consistency video as well. Most of her poses usually have her balancing on one leg or giving a wink and exposing her red eye to, you know, make her look more like the umbrella she's holding, which I think is really cool. Chen and Kogasa actually do have the same ability. Really? What is it? What is it listed as? What is it listed as? This is probably going to be my Gussie fact, because I didn't know this. Surprising humans. No shit, really? Where does it say that Chen's ability is surprising humans? Is it in her omake? Because I need to make sure, I'm being very careful that all the information that I'm using actually has a source that can be linked back to it, and it's not just hearsay. So I needed a source that comes from like Zun's own words before I can confirm it. Because the little sidebar is hilarious. Do you know if you go to Aku's page on the wiki, it says her first appearance, she was 12 years old? Like, who writes this shit? First appearance, 12 years old. Currently 30 years old. Also marked her date of death. Like, who writes this, man? Alright, where am I? Ichirin Kumoi and Unzan. Some fans have begun calling her Ichirin Kujo, a reference to Jotaro Kujo of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. From Unzan's appearance with Ichirin and fights with her, emphasis on the fists. With her appearance in Hopeless Masquerade is only intensified with her fighting style. Or at least appearance in Unzan in fights. Ichirin's presence tends to be overshadowed by Unzan. Even Zun himself says she's nothing more than Unzan's hitbox. This is a shift from the popularity she enjoyed when the demo first came out. Even though Unzan never speaks for anyone but to only Ichirin, he's shown to be more confident in conversation and have a dialogue with other characters in many fanworks. Some people interpret her title of Undefined Fantastic Object as Ichirin's origin. Look at the word Big Flower, Big Wheel, and the part of her title, the big wheel having guarded and being guarded. When it loses the human, it becomes Ichirin. When she abandoned being human, she was reborn from the moment as a yokai, as what Ichirin is now. Western fans have given the nickname Bro Fist for when Unzan attempts to punch his opponent, likely as a reference to PewDiePie. A mild trend in fan art is that Ichirin may appear plain, but upon changing her outfit reveals she's actually quite attractive. That's just true, man. That's not even a fan art trend. In Hopeless Masquerade, one of Ichirin's starting poses is very similar starting pose of Jin Saotome in Marvel vs. Capcom series, yet some of her attacks are very similar to Jin's attacks. It's probably the same thing as was used in Ryuji Utsu, similarly to Souther. Okay. Chen's surprising ability mentioned in PCB Omake when she isn't posed as a Shikigami. Okay, that's good information. This is in dark mode, no matter everything felt so weird for a sec. What is bro talking about? It's been in dark mode the whole stream. Alright, yeah, I will probably use that as my Gussie fact, because I didn't know they had the same ability. That's cool. Minamitsu Murasa. Perhaps due to her music theme, Captain Murasa, she tends to be referred to by her last name more often than in the Western fan base. Also sometimes mistaken to treat her as her first name. sort of like Hong from Hong Mailing, which is properly rendered as Mailing Hong if using Western name order. Due to her outfit and occupation as a sailor, fans have made connections between her and the PC-98 character Chiara-Kita Shirakawa. According to fans, she has similarities to Kagome from the anime series Inuyasha. During the time at Undefined Fantastic Object, there was confusion among the fan base whether she wears short pants or a skirt, due to the way her art is depicted. Though Zun indirectly stated she wears a skirt, and it was later shown in recent works that she does. Situation needed. However, in her portrait in Goyuku Ibun, she is shown to wear short pants. Huh. She has been shown wielding her anchor as a weapon, has been the source of parody images comparing Minamitsu to Mei from Guilty Gear series. It's also shown to be the case in Hopeless Masquerade. In the popular web browser game Kantai Collection, there's a character that bears similarly to Murasa, which is the light cruiser Kiso. According to her character designer Ugume, the artist once considered Murasa as his waifu. Can anybody know if that's true? Huh. Does anybody know if that's true? Oh. Shou. Some fans have compared her and Nazrin's relationship to Ran, Yakumo, and Chen, as all four of them are animal yokai, and Nazrin comes back as more powerful as Shou's mid-boss, much like how Chen comes back more powerful as Ran's mid-boss. Due to the fact she lost the pagoda long ago, fans portray her as very distracted and a forgetful person, frequently losing things she has, or forgetting where they are, similar to Nazrin's great annoyance. Sometimes to Nazrin's great annoyance. There are various other gags involving the pagoda, from it shooting beams to it exploding for no good reason. Some fans have speculated Shou involves a reference to Shigechi from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, whose stand Harvest, which bears patterns similar to Shou's tiger stripes, gathers things at his request. The most notable case is the lottery tickets, one of which was a winner, i.e. Treasure. Please don't ever talk about Shigechi. Chat, Shigechi is like the worst character in the entirety of JoJo's. Legit. Legitimately the most worthless, pointless, stupid, useless character ever. Bro is one of those Shigechi haters. Bro, Shigechi literally showed up for 2 episodes just so Araki could kill somebody and make it be like, oh yeah, the Yoshikage Kira is a bad guy. Look, see, he killed this kid. You know the funniest part about Shigechi is when he's limping through a school, bruised, battered, and bloody, and some girls see him and they go, ew, he's gross, let's get away from him. Instead of being like, oh my god, are you alright? We should help you. They were like, ew, he's gross. And they ran away and left him for dead. That character exists for 2 episodes, probably like 5 chapters. And then he's just the dead. And then nobody cares. No, there's no mention of him ever again. His parents don't ever like talk about like no appearance. No appearance. He's just dead. He's just gone. He's just gone, dude. When Shou is first introduced, her name Shou is usually masculine, while Maru is masculine. They're using a given name and outfit. Combined with it being an avatar of a male god, led some fans to mistaken her for male. Bro, every now and again, a Touhou character comes out, and some motherfucker really just goes, this is it. This has got to be the time. I know it's been 12 years, and every character who's shown up in a game has been female, but this is the one. I feel it in my bones. It's coming. Shou, that's a male right there. Every fucking time. Despite numerous fanworks applying darker and edgier interpretations to the rest of Myoden Temple, Shou is almost never depicted villainously. Okay. Shou is sometimes paired with Rin, not because of their feline characteristics. Yeah, we read that earlier. They're sad and annoyed together, and then Rin gets an invitation to 19, and she's like, sorry, sis. And then she bails. Some friend. Similar to how Yukari is called Yukarin, it is also common to call her Hijirin. Because of her and Minamitsu Murasa's relationship, some fans have described them as modern versions of the PC-98 characters Yumemi and Chieri. Because she is a bit more mature acting, and possibly due to her being a final boss like Eren Yakukoto and Kanako Yasuka, who more often portrayed as older than norm, for Touhou girls. Some fan artists portray her as being an old lady or lumped in with such group. This is perhaps a bit ironic in Byakuren's case, considering how her profile states that she became a magician to retain her youth. Though in various fan art she is shown to have a mix of youthfulness and motherliness, including figure. Thanks for including that. She's often shown as a mother figure to various temple residents and few others. Since Urban Legend and Limbo, a recurring meme is having Byakuren ride a bike, or having her become a biker of sorts. Some fans have suggested that Byakuren's clothing are similar to Rosen Maiden's Suginto. She's considered something of a saint amongst some fans, especially when compared to the rootless and self-centered nature of the heroines who reject her ideals for peace. Other fans have argued that from the point of view of someone from a world where humans are oppressed, her appeals for human yokai equality wouldn't make much sense. Others insist that Gensokyo is very close to, if not exactly like her dream of a coexistence between humans and yokai. There's the fact that things were just misunderstanding and she ends up building a temple, perhaps with the help of the heroines afterwards, which is sometimes said to be very popular with humans and yokai alike. Some Western fans compare her to Jesus Christ because she fought for yokai and got sealed away for their sins. Because of this, fans have affectionately dubbed her Yokai Christ or Yokai Jesus. Because Byakuren's gradient hair color was confirmed to be natural, it was somewhat... Before it was confirmed to be natural, it was somewhat up in the air. Most fans depicted it as it appears, purple on top fading to brown. Other fans believed her hair is, which because official, entirely brown. And it is the lighting of the stage or her scroll glow that made it appear purple. Some fans didn't take her usage of Shinki's attack pattern very well at all. Most expecting Mima or Shinki to make an appearance in the Windows game after being practically forgotten about. The sight of Byakuren filling Shinki's attack stroked these fans the wrong way, whether it was from the attack pattern or being in Makai. Some fans, however, speculate she has a relationship or acquaintance with Shinki and is shown in artwork, sometimes suggesting that Shinki taught Byakuren in some of her attacks. Likely due to her using strength-enhancing magic, fans sometimes portray her as being a bit too eager to use force and violence to resolve things and punish people. Nuhuju. Due to her character design, theme song, and the fact she's an extra stage boss, some fans have compared her to Flondel. This has led to their fan nickname UFO, and I've never heard that one. She sometimes showed up with her Koishi Komeiji, both also extra bosses. She's generally drawn in fan art as having being more slim-figured compared to some other characters, Ichirin, Shou, Byakuren. She's often shown with a mischievous, if not seductive nature, though there are some innocent Nue portrayals. Due to her Danmaku X from a Wandering Star spell card and double spoiler, she's occasionally featured with the PlayStation button shapes XO, triangle, and square. Nue often theorized to be the mysterious orb in Lotus Land story due to similarities. The fact that no one knew Nue's true form makes it a possible case. A more strong reason is that UFO had the idea to reference the PC-98 era, hence the return of Makai. After an ASCII art depicting her in tears and then getting silenced by a shrimp tempura thrown into her mouth, it has become common to associate her with said food. What? What? Why is there no link to that image? Why is there no link to that image, man? She's often paired with Kogasa in fan art due to said yokai both appearing in the extra stage as the boss and the mid-boss respectively, and their similar association with surprising or scaring humans. Myoren Hijiri. Instead of what's mentioned on the main page, some fans draw him as a young man with gradient hair and an overall appearance similar to Byakuren. This is likely to be false, however, as he was a monk who has their head shaved. Myoren Hijiri. Alright, chat. And with that, we have passed the 2-hour mark, which means we have one more. We have one more. We'll do 10 Desires, Double Dealing, Lunatic. They're really going to start thinning out when we get down here. And then we have the spin-off stuff, which have a little bit. So next time, chat, we're going to finish it all. Cool information today. Some information that was stupid. Some information that was pretty cool. Not bad. So this will all be on the test. This will all be on the test. I hope you studied. I hope you studied. I'll see you next week with the final edition. Look forward to it. Or don't. I don't care.